Yo, yo, what up, people from behind the booth? This is your host, DJ Wally. Welcome back, friends, family, and listeners. Happy New Year, y'all. Um, I hope that your guys' New Year is looking as promising as mine is. I am truly, truly excited for this new year. I was thinking about like where to start with this whole podcast because I got a lot of things going already. And it's only pretty like mid of January. And let me start off by saying that I apologize for being delayed on this episode. I had people lined up. You guys know how it goes. If I have people lined up and they fall through, then that pushes my schedule back. So I apologize on that note. I did want to kind of do an episode for myself anyways because just I think for one to check in with you guys to let you guys know maybe some thoughts or express some ideas, but also I've been doing a lot of things, so I think this is good, like to have a once in a while check in with me. And so for one, I mean to take up space when there's no guests or for whatever reason the guests lag it. I don't want to say no names, but so I can let you guys know what's going on with me and where my mind's been, and also maybe some things that I've been experiencing, or just just to keep y'all posted, keep you guys updated with the host. All right. So like I said, I was trying to think of where to begin. I think that I will start off with the Namm show. So recently, the Namm occurred. If you guys are not familiar with the Namm show, it's a big convention where they have a bunch of music professionals, people from the industry. I think primarily music merchants. Sorry, I remember. So Namm is National Association of Music Merchants. So primarily it's a bunch of people that are selling gear and they're like looking for people to sell it to. So big companies like, lighting companies, Elation, American DJ, Chave, whatever it is. They're there. And then all your big brands like DJ brands, Pioneer, Roland, Rain, and so the big brands are there, but then also, who's there to see these items? None other than the people that would be utilizing the most. So a lot of times, DJs are invited at least invited by, they're invited by like the companies because they want people, for one, they want those DJs to test their products and, experience them, but also a lot of times they'll have them showcase them and, just kind of like flaunt the newest thing, whatever's in. And then also people that are walking around, they can see and they'll be like, wow, like, if I just get this piece of gear, I'll look just like that guy, and they're pointing at Scratch Bassett or Qbert or something like that. And then there's a bunch of other, artists there as well. I was fortunate to be invited by Roland. So I'll tell you guys the whole thing, like how I got plugged in with that. I think a lot of you know, or if you don't know, so the director at Scratch DJ Academy, where I work, the director, his name is Hoppa, or that was the old director, right? So there's a new director now. The new director's name is Fortify, and the old director is DJ Hoppa. So DJ Hoppa and we still talk quite a bit, and we're pretty cool. So he contacted me and asked me that if I would want to be involved with that, and I said, of course, that sounds awesome. I was kind of looking into a way to get into Namm anyways. So that was my free ticket for sure. And I'm not exactly sure because I haven't gone to Namm in quite a few years. So I can't exactly say how you get to go. So I think a lot of people, I think you have to be invited by like a company So I was invited by Roland, but I think typically you have to be invited by a company that has I don't know if they pay for like a membership or something of that nature with Namm, and then you have to still pay for a ticket to go. So I think the ticket price is $100 from what I was hearing like through the grapevine. And I only did a 30-minute set. I went on a Thursday, which was I think January, I want to say 16th, and yeah, I'm pretty sure. And yeah, I had a real quick set. So from 1:30 to 2, I got there around 11 o'clock. This is actually an epic day too. Now that I'm like thinking about it all, but I got there at 11 o'clock. I it was real easy. Sometimes it could be a real pain to like go through all the procedures, especially like to get your name badge and deal with parking and all that stuff like that. It was actually really convenient. I parked across the street, which was actually a Disneyland parking lot. Oh yeah, I don't know if I mentioned this, but Namm is in Anaheim. So yeah, I parked across the street from Disneyland or the convention center, which was at the Disneyland parking lot. And then I they had a pretty mainstream line to get your badge. And once you had that, then you're all, welcome into the show. So it was pretty cool. I walked around, checked out a lot of stuff. For those of you who follow me on social media, I pretty much documented like my entire day. All the cool things that I seen. I think there was some things that I didn't get a chance to really talk about. So it's cool that I get this personal episode, so I get to talk about some particular items. I'm trying to think of like what was kind of big that stood out to me. So as soon as I got in, I dropped my bag off with Roland just so I could leave it there. I had my DJ bag with me. And then I started wandering around, running into DJs. Like I said, I hadn't been there in a few years, so I really forgot kind of how magical it was. And if you guys could have seen my face, I bet you I looked just like a kid in Willy Wonka's chocolate factory. Like I was just ear to ear smiles. And every time I turned, I seen somebody, a DJ or someone, and I was just like, oh, there's so and so, and there's so and so, and then I would turn behind me, and then so and so is standing right behind me, and I was just like, eyes everywhere. I couldn't focus. I was just so happy to be there. It was pretty awesome, and it like I said, it was nice because I hadn't done that in a long time. So one of the notable items that I did see that I think I did take a little video of it, but I didn't get to like really talk about it too much. But one of the big things that I seen was I seen like custom vinyls that would go on. Oh, excuse me. Would go on like the 12s and or like the Denon I think the Denon CDJs. I don't know if they have a rotating platter, but it seemed like there was like a custom vinyl on there, and that was provided by, I don't know if it was a collab with 12-inch Skins, but I know that 12-inch Skins was definitely there. But anyways, there was a custom vinyl that I seen that looked like a Hello Kitty. I seen a Yoda head. I seen not a TIE fighter. Excuse me. I'm trying to think of what it's called. The Star Wars people, please bear with me. I had a long day today, and we'll get to that. So I forget what the other one's called. The Rebel fighter ship, whatever it's called. Yeah. So those are pretty cool. I was checking those out for a while, and then they also had custom vinyls. It wasn't a vinyl. It was I guess the platter that goes on top of like the Denons or maybe some CDJs. It kind of reminded me of like the NS7s. I knew that those were vinyls, but they weren't like real digital vinyls, right? But anyways, this vinyl in particular that I'm talking about, it had the Camelot wheel printed on it, so that was pretty cool. So for those of you who are not familiar with that, that is the wheel that shows like the key of the song. So maybe like a B flat or something like that, but it'll show it in as like a 9A, 8A, etc., so on and so forth. So that was pretty cool. I thought that was pretty convenient. So if you're already playing on that, you could kind of just reference that and not have to do whatever you would normally do to maybe like reference back to your Camelot wheel. That was definitely something really cool that I seen. Also got to get on a Hercules controller that was like this big, and I had a student that had, I think, a Newmark one, and again, it was like that big, and I thought it was really cool. His was really cool, but my biggest takeaway was when I was playing with it, he brought it to scratch, and I was playing with that little controller. Um, you couldn't manipulate like the vinyl, so I couldn't, for instance, like I couldn't have the vinyl and try to scratch with it. It was like a minor adjustment, so or like a CDJ, like if you sped it up, so it only sped it up or slowed it down. There was no like vinyl mode on like a lot of controllers have, where you press it and then you get to scratch with it. That didn't happen. So this Hercules one, it had that, and I thought that was pretty awesome. And so I was like fucking around with it, and yeah, I mean, it seemed pretty sharp. It seemed pretty cool. I mean, granted, I'm over here like scratching super tiny, right? Because everything's so minuscule. But I thought it was really cool. It was fun to play with. Definitely, I've seen Dynamics do videos like that where he's playing with stuff like that on Airplane, and definitely I could see that. And I think the price point was pretty cheap, so it's probably around 100 to maybe 150 tops. But something that's this big where you could kind of just throw it in your backpack and you could bring like your speaker. Like, not to say that you'd probably want to do that, but if you wanted to, for whatever reason, you could take it to like the beach and then DJ like a little set for your homies, or something. I don't know. To some people that might sound like a blast, and to me that just sounds like work, because we do this all the time. So that would definitely be like laborious to me. But if I could just have fun somewhere, maybe where I'm bored, especially I think so that, like I said, Dynamics had it in the Airplane. I think that's good. Also, maybe like at layovers, when you have a lot of like lag time between flights, you just want to fuck around and you're not trying to just be there unproductive. You could, do that. So that was another like pretty cool thing that I seen. I didn't get to see the 70. I only went Thursday, so they waited till I think Saturday afternoon to unveil the 70, the Rain 70. Let's see, what else did I like I said, I ran into so many DJ homies. It was so fun. I got to talk to a lot of DJ homies that I know, kind of touch base with them on some things. And then also it was cool because I met a lot of other people that I didn't know. So shout out to the new homies. There was quite a few people that I met. And me, I'm more of a quality over quantity type of person. So I made genuine relationships with about 5 or 6 people, I'd say. Not a ton. I didn't like pass on my business card to everybody I met. Just the people that I felt a nice connection with, and good vibes. And the cool thing is, just off those simple vibes, those people have still been in like talking with me after Namm. Two in particular, I'll say, my homie Dre Day, and my homie OG Slim D. I met him the night before, but then I ended up running into him, and then we just started chopping it up, and it's been good energy. He invited me to his party. That guy Dre Day, he said he's gonna roll out. I'm DJing on Saturday at the Lash with my homie DJ Mars and a bunch of Scratch fam. So we're doing that, and it's cool. Like I said, someone from Namm. We linked up. He actually lives in San Diego, and the fact that he's coming all the way to LA to come peep the thing, that's pretty awesome. And that's just like I said, a genuine connection that I made out there. I talked to some other people out there too as well. So let me back a little bit. Like I said, I met some good people, seen some cool people, did my set. at the Roland booth, a little 30-minute. I just played, it was real chill. They had like a band set up and stuff going on. So I was kind of the intermission music, but nonetheless, I didn't mind. I played just like some sample stuff, just some background chill stuff. They didn't want it too hype anyway, so that was perfect for me. And the setup that I was on was a Roland 707, so it was a controller like this big. And they also, I guess I didn't even know this, but well, I had the heads up, but on that particular controller, you can plug in turntables. So they actually had the turntables plugged in, and I had that controller, as the mixer. Also available to use those jog wheels, but yeah, I was definitely utilizing the turntable since they're available. So that was pretty cool. And then, yeah, that like I said, that day was really long. I think I woke up pretty early that day too. I probably went to the gym knowing myself, especially since I've been experimenting with waking up at 6, even though I think the goal is to get to 5. But I've been experimenting by waking up at 6 in the morning. Also because of a buddy of mine, DJ Rev Up, he challenged me to take a cold shower. So I'll get into that a little bit later. I promise not to forget. It's definitely been something. But yeah, so after that, I after I finished my set, it's kind of winding down. Like I said, I watched a lot of people. I got to play with the Phase. I seen Trentino at the Pioneer booth. Oh, I ran into some. And those are some other buddies that I forgot I ran into. I ran into some guys that I literally haven't seen since high school, and it's cool. They worked with Pioneer. They're still DJing. I knew them on my way out of high school, and they were DJing. It's kind of funny too because they were, one of them in particular was kind of like my nemesis because I was known as the hip hop DJ and he was known as like the EDM DJ. So it was always a question of like, oh, who's better? And that war was never really won just because I was better at hip hop, he was better at EDM, and that's what it was. But it was really cool. I ran into him at the Pioneer booth. He actually recognized me because of my name badge, because he thought it was me, and I thought he looked familiar, but the whole like name badge thing kind of confirmed it. And he's like, "Hey, you went to Carter, right?" And yeah, we just started chopping it up from there. And then he actually introduced me to his buddy, and yeah, that's pretty much how that day went. Well, at Namm, right? So it ended at 6, and then they had BPM Supreme had an event going on that started at 9. So I had this 3-hour gap where I didn't really know what to do. At that time, I was hanging out with my homie Mike Sincere. Shout out Mike. His girlfriend Jezzy. My homie Juan, and MC Ash. So I was hanging out with all these guys on my way out. There was a event going on thrown by I think Innovator and a bunch of other people, and they were gonna have this event that was at I think it was the Hilton Hotel that was like literally like across the street from the convention center. So we walked over there, and when we got to where the event was held, it was outside and it was super cold. I think I was just in like a t-shirt, maybe this, I think I had this jacket on, but t-shirt and this jacket, and it was super cold. It just wasn't really making sense. I was hungry. I hadn't ate since I think morning. I actually swooped a sandwich. Oh, I forgot about this part. So, like towards the end, my little crew that I just named that I was with, we were looking for the rain 70. We're like, oh, where's it at? Blah, blah. So one of us had a map, and we ended up finding out where the rain area was, and it was upstairs, and it was kind of like away from everything. So we went upstairs, finally found the room, and when I got to the room, there was like a receptionist outside, and they had just like brought some food out. And I was like, oh, can we go in there? And she's like, oh no, it's appointment only, and it'll be open to the public maybe Saturday afternoon, right? So we were all kind of bummed because we really wanted to see that. Um, like I said, they had brought food out, so there was a sandwich. There was like a half a sandwich on there. I'm not even gonna front. I was super hungry. I swiped that sandwich, start eating it, right? And then of course, right, like DJ Ease walks out, and I was like, that guy looks familiar. I didn't recognize him at first. And then a whole like army, so it was like Scratch Bastard. Um who else was with him? I'm trying to think of in particular who it was, but I just know that oh maybe Big Once Once, I think. I forgot who else was with him, but he had like a good little crew of people, right? So he's walking out and me just being me. I was like, oh, so they only let the Kobe boy in? And then he looked at me and he's like, did it let you in? It's like, no, they didn't let me in. He's like, ah, and then he was like already like on his way out. But yeah, so I guess they did like they allowed, them to see it early, for private inspection, but everybody else, general public, was like Saturday afternoon. So anyways, we went to that thing outside. It was way too cold out there. I wasn't really trying to be there. So Mike and them, they went to go eat. I think Juan, I'm not sure what happened with Juan. And then I ended up running into a buddy of mine, DJ Craze, not Craze, it's Craze with a K. He's told everybody he meets, he always says he had it first. He'd been established before that DJ Craze. But shout out to Craze and aka Jason. I ended up running into him, and I was telling him, I was like, man, I want to go to the BPM Supreme event, but I don't want to be right here because it's so cold, blah blah, and I don't want to move my car because I don't have to worry about parking. So I was kind of just like, going over everything in my head. And I was really tired. Like I said, I've been waking up at like 5:30 in the morning, and it was already about 6, almost 7. So I was like bitching about all this stuff. And he's like, hey, do you want to go to Disneyland? And I looked, I was like, what? You Disneyland? And he's like, yeah, I work there, It's like, what, you work? Oh, I hope I didn't just put you on blast, bro. Everybody's gonna be hitting you up, but I gotta tell the story, bro. So, anyways, for validity, and anyways, he's like, yeah, I work there. I could get you in. So I was like, you know what? Fuck it, I'm down. And he's like, yeah, I got you on parking and everything. So he walked me to my car, picked up my car, parked across the street from Disneyland. He just mainstreamed me through everything. We actually went to California Adventure, which is pretty funny because I'd never been to California Adventure. So it gets me through the gate. He gets me to the front of the line at Guardians of the Galaxy. I've never rode that ride. We get on the ride, having a blast. I bought him a beer. He was actually DJing that night with the homies John B and Chad Daddy at Continental Room. So he actually had to leave. But at the time that he left, it was already about to be like, I think 8-ish. So I just figured, I heard that previously BPM Supreme's line was super long. And everybody, I think the doors were supposed to open at 10. Something like that. So everyone was suggesting that you get there early. So as soon as he was leaving, I ended up walking over to BPM Supreme, where there was a good line, but didn't mind staying in it. And I was standing there, and that's when I ran into some other people, and I just started chopping it up with everybody. That night, I ended up seeing Lazy Boy. I seen Angelo. I seen Scratch Bastard. And I think that was it. That's all that I seen. I know that there was more DJs performing, but by the time I got to Scratch Bastard, I was burnt. I was so burnt. It was probably 11 o'clock. Yeah, probably 11 o'clock, and I got home at 12. So, that was a long ass day for me. really fun. Just a long ass day. The next day, I just kind of bummed around and kind of took it all in. It definitely charged me up, like spirit wise, but my body was pretty fatigued after a day like that. And a lot of people were asking me if I was going to go to the following days, and I had no intentions to. I was thinking about it. The more that the more that people were talking to me about it, I was thinking more about it. But I was just like, no, you know what? I'm pretty burnt. I don't really want to go. And I had already got what I needed. Like I had received a lot of inspiration from Namm because of everything that I seen, the people, the engagements that I had. It really just charged my spirit and my soul up. Also, I think I want to give a huge shout out to this person. Or two things really big kind of happened to me in particular. Two really big conversations. So one, I ran into an old scratch instructor of mine. Shout out to Gymnastic. He did a lot of private lessons with me, and he actually moved to Texas. I don't even know how many years ago. Probably I haven't seen him in about 4 or 5 years, maybe longer. And so, yeah, actually probably longer than that. But oh, I don't know what that is. But yeah, so I ended up running into him and I was so excited. I was like, dude, what's up? I haven't seen you in forever. Like how's everything? Blah blah. And he just had some really, really strong words for me. And it, like I said, that was a thing that like one of the things that really lifted my spirit. As soon as he see me, he's like, "What's up, bro? Like, man, you're crushing it." He's like, "Dude," he's like, "Honestly, man, like watching you grow, it's been so amazing, and you're just fucking pushing the envelope, and you're on some next level shit." And I was like, "What do you like? No, like, you're my teacher. Like, I learned from you, man." And he's like, "No, like for real, like the things that you're doing, like you make me so proud." And I just, he's like, "Keep doing that. Just really keep doing that." And he's like, "The thing that you do with like the green screen and the podcast and all that," he's like, "Dude, that's gonna take off, and you just keep doing you." And I was like, "Wow, man, like thank you so much. Like that means a lot. And it's that whole notion of, I do all this stuff, but you never know how much is actually like being taken in, and you never really know who's watching. So to hear that was just really awesome. Right. So that was one big ass conversation that really charged me the fuck up. And then another one was with Hapa. So I talked to Hapa, and kind of the first thing he says to me too is, he's like, "Yo, what's up, man?" And then he hits me. He's like, "Hey, when are you gonna have me on the podcast?" And I'm just kind of tripping out. Like, to me, this is a small podcast that's growing organically, and I really love everything that's been happening with it and how it has really been growing organically. Like, I think about it a lot, and I think about like what I really want, and I think that because of the core values that I have for it, it's managed to stay what it is, and I'm really excited to see where it goes. And luckily, like, I'm very grounded in what it is. So, I think that it'll continue to be more or less the same, content wise, and I don't see much variety coming to it. I mean, like the formula, I think that the formula is great. I think that there are some things maybe we could work out, and that is going to come up. I wanted to discuss that with you guys. But like I said, the core values of this thing is just very, very solid. And so for him to say that, here's this guy that I look up to that was the director for Scratch DJ Academy for like, I don't know, I'd say at least 15 years, been DJing for about 25 years, has all these accolades, like the list just goes on for this guy, right? And he's hitting me and he's asking me, "Hey, when are you gonna let me be on your podcast?" Like, of course, what I said was like, I'd love to have you on, like, whenever you're ready, whenever you want to do it. Yeah, so that was another like really big thing that happened, and that really like lit me up. It was a really good feeling to hear that. And he was, very sincere about it. Also, he also commended me on the green screen. he was asking me questions about it, which also like, you know, reminded me about the whole like importance of remaining a student, you know, and always, you know, never assume that you know everything, and you know, I've recently been kind of coming across that a lot, where I'll talk to someone that's older, where I have this notion or this expectancy where I think that they should know because they're older, you know, and that's wrong of me for sure, completely. And that's a learning lesson that I've been learning, and I love that it just keeps it just really kind of keeps getting like pounded in my head, like, hey, you'd never know everything, and just because a person is older, you know, don't assume. And I really admire that. I really do admire that quality about someone that, you know, is not afraid to continue learning. And so for him to ask me that, like about the green screen, I was like, oh, dude, it's super easy. You know, you could do it, blah, blah. It was just, like I said, it was a good reminder. And it really like rekindled the flame within me. And it lets me know that I'm doing something right. So that was, like I said, a really awesome day at Namm. Another big announcement that I wanted to let you guys know is, well, should I start off? Okay, so before I get to that one, sorry, I keep like backstepping. So I was talking about the cold shower thing, and I think that's an important one that I want to address so that I can get into my next topic. But so a buddy of mine, DJ Rev Up, he I guess he watches my stories a lot. He notices that I'm always awake in the mornings, and I think he's seen my post about me starting to wake up earlier because I've been reading this book called The 5 a.m. Club. If any of you guys like reading about entrepreneurial stuff or like self-growth, personal development, I highly recommend this book. It's a great book, and I honestly don't like to read. I actually intended on buying the audio book, but it's not a tough read. It's an easy read, and it's really good. I really like a lot of stuff that I'm already reading. I'm reading it on my phone, and it's like my first time reading an audiobook or a book like that. But yeah, I've been highlighting a bunch of stuff. For those of you who follow me on social media, I every once in a while, if I really there's a lot of profound things in there. So if I find something really that stands out, I'll highlight it. Usually I'll screenshot it and I'll post it for everyone, just because I really stand by whatever is going on in that message. So yeah, I think he took notice of me, doing this, and I've always kind of been about recently I've been very focused on self-assessment, personal development, all that stuff, right? So anyways, he said, you should try. He's like, I dare you to try doing cold showers. And of course, right away I was like, what the fuck? Like, no, hell no. No, hell nah to the nah. Like I was at all the way. I was like, no, I don't want to do that. I wake up. For one, I was like, I already wake up. I don't need no cold shower, right? And I love my hot showers, right? Like who doesn't? So like I said, of course, at first I was like, no. So I was telling him no a few times. I told him no. And this is all through text. And he sent me like a YouTube video on why it's good, which I honestly didn't even watch, but he sent me that. He also was just really like kind of trying to get me to do it. And for me, I always talk about this, and I think it's really important to acknowledge who your allies are. And if someone sees something great in you and they're trying to get you to do something to be greater, that's big, and that's really what kind of stood out to me, is that even though I said no a couple times, he was still really about it. And I've talked about this. It's hard enough, or it's enough work. It's beyond enough work for a person to focus on themselves. It's so much work to keep in check with yourself, especially if you're really in tune with yourself. It's a lot of work. There's things that bother you. There's financial situations. There's responsibilities. There's so much to do for yourself, right? If someone else is trying to help you and trying to put focus on you and your life and try to make you better, like, you gotta see that. You gotta see how important that is. And that's really what happened to me, is that it kind of just clicked in my head. I was like, yo, Wally, this guy's trying to help you. He wants you to be better. Like, just give it a shot. If you don't like it, you don't got to do it. No one's going to twist your arm. No one's going to, he's not going to be there. He's not going to be there to fucking be like, all right, get in the cold shower. You got to do it. That's not going to happen. So why not just try it? All he wants you to do is try it for 7 days. That's legit what he said. Do it for 7 days. So I was like, you know what? Fuck it. I appreciate you. I'm going to do it. I'm going to do this. And I like to be a man of my word. So I threw it out there to my buddy MJ. Shout out to MJ. And he said that he would do it as well. So we were doing it. And for starters, Rev told me to ease into it. So he was saying that it would be easiest if you did like your regular shower, and then maybe the last 30 seconds do it cold, and then you could build on top of that. So first couple of days, honestly, I hated it. I did not like it. Being straight up, who wants to take a cold ass shower? Your dick gets like this big. For those of you guys are watching, you can see what I'm referring to. And for you guys who are listening, I'm like going about the size of a Tic Tac. It's cold, man. It's so cold. And especially if you're waking up at the hours that I wake up at like 5:30 in the morning, nah, you don't want to do that. But this is the kicker, right? So I did it for 7 days. The day that I took off, I didn't feel as much energy. Like, I noticed this, like, in the days that I did the cold shower, I was charged the fuck up. Like, I was so charged. And I mean, some days I would go to the gym and some days I wouldn't. Because the gym usually does kickstart my day and charge me up. But yeah, I really started to notice that energy. And then when I didn't do it, I didn't feel nearly as energized. And so I was like, wow, that is something significant. And the more energy that I have, the more productive I can be, and the more energy I have for anything. Like, the more energy I have for cooking, the more energy I have for DJing, the more energy I have to pursue my creative ventures, whatever it is. Just more energy is always good, right? So yeah, I'm kind of on it. I'm kind of hooked on it. I took a cold shower this morning. It was cold as shit, but like I mentioned, or I don't know if I had mentioned it earlier. Today I don't think I did. So today I had work at my new job. I woke up at 4 a.m, and then I started at 5:45. I just got home. I got home at, what time is it? I got home at like, I think 7. I ate a meal that I had cooked, and then I came in here and started doing the podcast. And so yeah, I mean, I don't know what I'm running on, but I have a lot of energy. I'm not really tired. My body is kind of like, I can feel it on the way down, but I feel great. I don't feel like exhausted where, like, even doing this would be unfathomable usually after a long day like that at work, right? And I didn't mention this, but I was in Anaheim, so I live in Alhambra. So it was like an hour there, an hour back, right? So it's definitely been a long day, but you see me right in front of you, or you're listening to me at least, if you're not watching the YouTube. And I'm energized. I'm really charged up. So that has definitely been something that I implemented. And if any of you guys are looking for energy and you'd like to go a more natural route, because I don't really do coffee, and Monsters and Red Bull, stuff like that, make me like, they give me like anxiety. Like I get really anxious with them. I can't handle that stuff. Honestly, I could take like a sip or something if I'm falling asleep or if I really, really need it. But cold showers, people. And like I said, you don't got to cold turkey it. So you don't got to put it on cold and just jump in when it's like at 0 degrees. Ease yourself into it, wake up, take a hot shower like you normally would, last 30 seconds, freeze your ass off. But even though you just do that last 30 seconds, I can almost guarantee that you're going to feel that. You're going to feel that charge. And it's a nice feeling, especially when you can utilize it. That's the big thing of it. Like not only do you feel it, but if you utilize it, you get hooked because like, oh shit, I need this. I want to feel energized and I want this charge so I can do more. So shout out to Rev Up. I appreciate you, brother. I've already expressed the importance of having you on my podcast, so that'll be coming soon. I think we're looking at March. Okay, moving on. Here's I kind of mentioned this. So I got another job. I still work at Scratch DJ Academy as an instructor there. That's part-time. I still DJ. And now my third job is working as an audiovisual technician. So, like I mentioned earlier, I had an early morning. I'm actually still in my clothes. I could have changed, but I really wanted to do this. So I could always shower and all that stuff later. I'd rather knock this out, go push it out so I can have it ready for you by Friday, aka tomorrow. So new job. I actually got this job kind of thrown at me towards the end of December. And it was a buddy of mine. He was asking me if I was looking for work. And I honestly wasn't really. But, I wanted to hear him out. I was like, okay, so what's the job? What are the hours like? So he told me the job is audiovisual technician. It's actually work that I used to do at Cal State San Bernardino when I was attending. Excuse me. And I did that for like 3 years at Cal State. And then once I graduated, I stopped doing that, focused on DJing, got into teaching. So I haven't done it in 5 years. But, it's very similar to, so for those of you who are not familiar with it, it's very similar to what we do already as DJs, especially mobile DJs, maybe not so much like club DJs, but mobile DJs, we set up a lot of PA systems, we set up microphones, we tape things down. That's really what it is. We set up, audiovisual technician, we set up microphones, we gaff tape things down, work a audio board, so it's all kind of stuff that I've already been, used to. So I was like, all right, that's cool. What's the hours like? He's like, oh, well, it's bi-weekly. It's a part-time job. It's $20 an hour. And you, so pretty much we'll hit you up every week and we'll say, what days are you busy? What days are you free? If there's work on the days that you're free, then we'll put you on. And if not, no worries. We'll hit you up next week. And that's literally how it's been. Today was my third day. Today was quite a day, quite a third day. But let me talk about my first 2 days real fast. So it's really easy. My job is actually so sometimes it'll be taking over what's already set up. So let's just say a room is set up, and that person's been working from 8 to 12, 8 in the morning till 12, right? And they clock out at 12. And then I'm supposed to take it over from 12 till 5 or whatever it is, right? It could be 12 to 8, whatever. So then pretty much they would leave. I kind of check in the room, see if everything's cool. And as long as it is, and I get to go back to the office, and I would check in with them maybe every hour, and that's completely up to me. That's not mandatory that I do that, but I don't mind. And in that time span, I'm just sitting at a desk. And for one, because of my energy, I've been utilizing it and capitalizing on it. But for another, it's like, yo, I'm getting paid to sit at this desk. I could just watch movies. I could totally do that. But where would that get me? Right. So I realized that really quick about how chill it was, and like, yo, I should utilize this. And so sure enough, on my second day, the first day I was just kind of getting the feel of things. On my second day, man, I was so productive. I handled a bunch of invoices slash like contract stuff for weddings. I mapped out like, I don't know, like 50 songs in my library. So I think I've talked about this before, but pretty much me mapping out songs is me going, like, if I had some new downloaded songs, I'll go through them and queue them up. So, you know, wherever the 8 bar is, the 4 bar is, the start of the song, the chorus, whatever I'm marking up, right? So I did that for like 50 songs, which is a lot because usually I would do that right before a gig. But now that I've done that ahead of time, and then if I get new music, I could just be kind of like that much sharper. It was really exciting to do that. I read a little bit of that new book that I'm reading. And also, as if that wasn't enough, I started doing a reggaeton mix. And this is it. This is all in my second day. So I was completely like blown away, and I'm really, really excited about. I'm really, really excited about this, about how productive I'm being with that time, and it kind of falls back on that whole conversation that I had with DJ Axe. But it's kind of like some people, you know, if they're given a bunch of free time, they might fuck around, and then there's some people that they thrive when they're they thrive when, you know, like they're like barely making it, but because they're barely making it, it drives them to hustle. And there's some people that could do a 9 to 5 and then do their hustle, their complete hustle, what they really want to do right after, you know? And this is one of those moments where I'm realizing that, like, not to say that I need this, this AV job to be productive, but it seems very optimal for me because I know I'm working, and I think what it is also a little bit of mindset, is because I'm outside of my house, away from distractions, right? I can't do, like, if I watch movies in there, it would probably be a bad look. So for one, I'm conscious of that. I probably could, but it would be a bad look, right? So I'm conscious of that, but also, like, it's a mentality, just like when you go to the gym, like, you know, you're there to work. Well, when I leave my house and I go to this place, I know I'm there to work, and there's no like work for me to be done as far as an audio visual technician, because that stuff is all handled. It's at a hotel. It's pretty, like I said, set and go. So then, then it gives me the other option of, do you want to just sit here, or why don't you be productive and, make money so you can be better, make money while like practicing being better, right? So it's really awesome, and I can't express how exciting that is. And also because of this extra income, it allows creative freedom for me. And I know I've talked about this with a lot of people. I don't know if I've talked about this with you guys specifically, but having that extra income allows me to venture in my creative areas. Because if I don't have money, let's just say that when I was broke, but if I'm broke, right? If I'm broke, then I'm worried about, 3 essential things, like food on the table, roof over my head, and then like just like decent like financial stability, right? But if me in particular, and luckily this is because I know myself, if I have extra money, I'm not one to need to do the most like eccentric things or extravagant things. I don't need to I don't need to go to Disneyland every week. I don't need to, I don't know, do a lot of unnecessary spending like that. I think the most unnecessary spending I do is probably going out. And even then I don't even spend a lot. Like whenever I go out to go witness a DJ, that's like gas money and then like 2 drinks that I'll do. I don't ball out like that typically. Cause some of y'all know me and be like, wait a minute. But even when I ball out, it ain't balling out. Like I've never bought bottle service. Nothing crazy like that. I think balling out for me is like, yo, I dropped 100 today. And that's a lot of money because I'm just by myself. If I had a chick, then that would probably double. I think that's what they say too. Like, just think about like, do you like being single enough to, or do you want to be in a relationship bad enough to pay double for everything? And as of right now, I'm enjoying the single life. But yeah. So I mean, it's really cool to have this all lined up, and that's gonna allow me to venture in my creative areas. I've already kind of announced or probably mentioned about like I have a side clothing thing that I really want to do, and luckily I have been pursuing it. Definitely been doing a little bit more stuff on the low with it. Not ready to quite announce it quite yet because I want to make sure that it's at least presentable, and I don't know. I just want to make sure that I can have everything as ready as possible for like I do the big unveiling of it. But that's something that and it's not to like that's something that I want to do solely for me, and just to express my creativeness. Like that's something that I want to do. That's not to like not a get rich scheme or anything like that. Like I'm not thinking like, oh, if I do this, and man, I could be the next Versace or Active. Well, I should say Active. I think they just closed. My bad. But you guys get what I'm talking about. Just something like that. I don't see that. It's more personal. It's just like something creative that I want to do, and just to say I did it and to get my ideas out there. Just like this. Like I don't need this podcast to be world fucking wide. If it did, I wouldn't knock it, and that'd be amazing, right? And I'm definitely putting in the work behind it that could possibly grow it to that mass appeal. But if it just continued with the people that the 200 people or however many people that listen, and they genuinely get something out of it, that would be fine with me. And that's the same thing I feel about like the clothing stuff that I want to do. So all that's really exciting. I think that there was one more thing that I wanted to add in particular. I'm trying to think. Give me a second here. I can't really think, but I think that's not bad. I think that's pretty good, and that. Oh, I know. So, I think it was last episode I had was with DJ Alizé. So, I am in works because last year I said this and I didn't do it. Straight up, I didn't do it. I dropped the ball. I lagged it. I take full ownership and responsibility. And now that I've acknowledged that, we can move on, right? But I want to do that party that I was talking about. And so I'm taking steps to get that done. I think I have a name for it. I have one person that I'm working with directly to try to make that happen, and everything else is kind of just like we gotta finish everything. We gotta finish it all. I have a venue in mind. I haven't solidified it yet because I wanted to make sure that we were cool with the name, and then kind of everything could kind of progress from there. But I don't want to pitch a venue an unfinished idea, right? Like, oh yeah, I got this idea. I don't know what it's called, but we should do it. I want to have a product to present. Like, this is the name. This is what kind of drinks are going to be there. This is the kind of music that's going to be there. This is how many followers we have. This is what you can expect. This is who's going to provide audio, like all that stuff. I want to have it in a nice bow. And when I have it and present it, it's like, here, all you got to do is say yes. And this would be very convenient for me and the venue as well. But even if they say no, it's already a done package. I just got to walk around with this package and be like, hey, you want this? Nah? All right, you ain't fucking with it. You want this? Oh, okay. What about you guys? You guys want this? Oh, you take it? All right, cool. Then let's do it. Let's do it here. So that's the idea. And I can't say too much about it. I want to make sure that, all the T's and I's are crossed, or T's are crossed and I's are dotted on this, making sure that everything's as covered as possible. But that's it, everybody. That concludes this episode of From Behind the Booth. Thank you guys for listening. My name is DJ Wale. Happy New Year, even though I'm a little late. And lastly, I forgot to mention this. I don't think I mentioned this. I have, well, maybe I did. I'm sorry, guys. I'm very bad memory. But in case I didn't mention this, I had 3 DJs that I don't think I did. I was talking to myself in the car. I was like reciting this before I did it. But anyways, so next month I have 4 DJs. I have 4. This is gonna be a lot of work, but trust me, I'll get done. So I have 4 DJs lined up for the podcast for podcast episodes. I'll say I'll do a minimum of 2, maybe just to make up for this lost time. A maximum of 4 though. Like, maybe I could get everybody out. So that would be crazy, right? To have maybe like 1 a week or something. Would be a lot of work, but I believe in me, and I know you guys do too. So stay tuned for that. Hopefully we have a 4 episode. That'd be crazy. That'd be so crazy. But a 4 episode release next month. Peace.